What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this video is about who killed Brandon. Now, when the Shy season 3 started, they didn't show us what happened with Brandon or really explain what happened. We just got a funeral, so it'll be interesting to find out what happened. Now, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. I'm trying to get to 30K subs, and please hit that like if you enjoyed the video. Now, when the episode started, we saw that Keisha was asking Kev if she wanted him to go with her to the funeral. Instead, he went by himself on the bus, had his little new chain hanging, and we see his little neighborhood holding the box church, and we see drunk ass Ronnie. Hey, man, hey, you bother me? And he said, nah. And which was crazy, because why would Ronnie want to go there anyway? You killed her other son, whether it was by on purpose or mistake. Now we see that it was Brandon's funeral. Now we see that the Red situation is already taking place, so this is months afterwards. If you having a funeral, it's always right afterwards. So we see his mama Sonia San. She did a hell of a performance with the eulogy, and it's good to see her back after that booger sugar incident that she had last year. But she gave a heartbreaking eulogy. Everybody in there was crying. She said, I ain't never been loved. I didn't know how to give love. I gave them all I had. My pain, my hurt. I'm glad I had them, because at least I know what it's like to be loved unconditionally. Anyway, we see that them carrying Brandon's little casket out of there, little Easy E. They only need to put him in the back of a Chevy Impala. He was so little. But why Gravy feel the need to get Ronnie out the way? How does he even know Ronnie? I don't remember them meeting, and Brandon never told him Ronnie killed Coogie. So how does Gravy know? And then we see here come old Opie, Otis Perry. He's got, I want to offer my condolences. And she said, my son ain't never mentioned you. But he took a picture, which was kind of crazy. Like, you brought photographers for a photo op. But he tried to come. And a lot of times where people that have been the dirtiest, they want to come and see what other people know, which is why I think he showed up. And she said, my son ain't never mentioned you. And he tried to give her his card. And she said, I don't need nothing from you. And threw his card in the dirt. But I think he's the one that killed Brandon. If you go back to the last episode of season 2, Brandon was talking crazy to him, and it was Brandon's fault for getting that gun, getting caught up with that gun. That wasn't Otis Perry's fault, and he kept trying to tell Brandon, look, we gonna take care of this, but Brandon kind of popped off, which gave him the look like, boy, do you know who you talking to? I will bury your ass. And as Brandon walked off, he kind of had that look. And then lastly, Brandon was working with the feds to set him up. So all we need is for Otis Perry to have found that out, and that's pretty much a death wish. That's suicide, and everybody know that. Even people that ain't a street person like Brandon know that when you trying to set somebody up and working with the cops, that's suicide if they find out. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this, because every character in the Shy was tied into Brandon. One way or another, everybody that we saw knew Brandon or came in contact with him. And now that he's gone, we're going to have to see how they're going to try to make all this work. How does everybody tie into each other? I think it was kind of interesting how we didn't see what happened to Brandon, or they didn't talk about it. They did spend a lot of time on that wedding and on the, slanging plastic. She was packing more plastic than American Express in them pants, you know what I'm saying, on the honeymoon. And that's fine or whatever, but I would have liked to see a little more information on what happened with Brandon in that episode. I would have liked to see more information on what happened with Reg in that episode. Give me one or the other. We had to watch stuff we wasn't expecting and didn't know nothing about. A lot of people tuned in to that first episode because they wanted to see what happened and how it was explained, and they didn't explain it. Now, we know he was killed off, which is better than trying to bring in another actor and act as if we're not going to remember it was a different actor playing that character. So I'll go with that. That makes the most sense, especially how they had him about to be a snitch and set up murderous drug dealer. That was not going to go well for him. No way. And when I saw that storyline in season 2, you can go back to my reviews. I thought that was a bad move for him. And I don't know where they was gonna put him in witness protection. How in the world could he still be working a food truck and living in the hood and you set this dude up? He will have people come and get him from jail. He can order the hit from jail to take Brandon out. So he would have to be relocated. So I didn't think that those 2 cops was going to take care of his best interest like that. I know he was between a rock and a hard place, but he'd have been better off using Otis Perry's services to get a lawyer to get off of that gun charge than to try to set Otis Perry up. That was stupid. And I think that he knew better than that. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think happened to Brandon? What do you think is the most likely scenario? It's messed up that they killed him off, but bad things happen to good people in the Chi. It's very, very sad and unfortunate. But here's the thing that a lot of people that aren't from the city don't realize is that this stuff is not random. Things happen a lot, but like if Brandon ended up dead, we all know he was messy. He got himself in a jam, caught with that gun. He was working with Otis Perry, who's a shady figure, and he was about to set him up. That's a recipe for death in any city. You go set up somebody. A lot of times people say, well, so many people got killed over the weekend in Chicago. Yeah, but that's just a broad number. You got to break it down. Where were these killings located? A lot of times they're located in the same areas. This stuff keeps going on in the same areas. Ever since they tore the projects down, it's been a mess in the southwest side and the southeast side. But the north side and downtown has been pretty much okay for the most part. Now, that's where people with more money and more affluence stay. Whereas the south side, southeast, southwest is where more people of color and less wealth stay. So, of course, more things happen. But whenever you hear about a 3-year-old or something killed, normally they were aiming at somebody else. I doubt too many people had beefs with 3-year-olds that they felt they needed to kill them. But a lot of people don't have aim. They don't practice shooting, so they miss. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people get killed that were not intended to get killed. Not to say that it's good when the intended are killed. It's unfortunate people use guns to settle beefs. But a lot of times, as you get older, people are not going to sit there and fist fight and wrestle. And Chicago has a history of gangster gang violence. You can go all the way back to Al Capone. So people are quick to resort to violence to end beefs. And so I'm not surprised that they did this with Brandon, and I think it was the best option that they had. What I want to know is what happened with Reg also. So for Jake to be in custody of Otis Perry, there must have been at least a month or 2 has passed. So what happened with that situation? And then I'm wondering how they're going to show us what happened with Brandon. Are they going to show scenes of him getting killed or beat or whatever happened to him, and we only see the back of the actor's head, or in dark rooms, or what is going to happen? I'll be interested to see. What do you all think? Do you think that that was the best move for them to kill Brandon off? Or should they have just used a different actor, or should they have did a different route altogether? And what did you all think about Sonia Son's performance, aka Brandon's mother? She did a hell of a job. I mean, she really did, and she's an underrated actress. But that speech, you would have thought that she was talking about her real kids. She did that great of a job. It was very moving. And I think that she could do a lot more with her career if everything was working in her favor. I just put it that way. I don't know all her business, and so I can't assume that I do, but I'll just say if everything was going in her way, she can get the right role and make some major waves in the acting world, because she did a hell of a job. And so we'll see, between all these characters and all the drama that happens, it almost doesn't seem realistic, but that's the Shy. I mean, it's a lot going on. You grow up so fast. It's fast moving society. It's always somebody trying to take or give, or a little of both, and you can get caught up in it, and before you know it, you can end up dead. And the story of Brandon could be a realistic tale of somebody trying to do the right things, avoid all this stuff, make a couple bad decisions, end up with Otis Perry, end up with that gun. Next thing you know, you wake up dead. And they say, how you wake up dead? Well, he was alive when he went to sleep, but when he woke up, he was dead. I'll let y'all think about that. I'll see y'all on the next episode. I want to thank all my supporters at Super Chat, Patreon, social media, PayPal. I love you, and I'll catch you next episode. Peace.